Hey guys, Sean here. Today I want to talk about my 2020 channel and reading goals. I'm going to do stitching goals in the FlossTube video that I'm going to film today as well. But we'll do channel goals first so that if you're watching from FlossTube and wanted to hear my channel updates and what my goals are for the channel over the coming years, you don't have to sit through all the reading goals first if you don't want to. Let's first things first. Notice Vlogmas was not an utter failure. I did do the first like 5 days, but let's face it, we all knew I wasn't gonna make a video every day for 24 days. Um, I had intentions. I had more videos planned that I wanted to do, but some circumstances with work and stuff changed. I ended up going to a full time work from home situation, uh, and I just was making that transition, and while I was figuring that out and how to separate work from life, since I'm at home all the time now, I just decided to put a pause on making the videos and stuff until I kind of figured out that kind of separation and stuff. Basically, my office hired a bunch of new people, and they didn't have space to put them all, so they shifted some of us who don't really need to be in the office to do our jobs to full time work from home for 90 days while they figure out the space issue. So I'm basically working from home till early March now. So I had to kind of come up with ways, figure out how I was gonna, log out from work for the day and make the transition from like turn work off and go into life. Like it's different when you work from home a couple days a week than when you work from home all the time. So I had to just take some time and figure that out. But it's been a few weeks now, and I got that pretty much figured out. I have ways. I have a way now that I log out of work, and basically I log out of work. I do a couple of chores at home, like I clean the cat litter and take care of anything I might want to take care of before I take a shower. Then I take a shower, get in comfy clothes, and work's turned off. So, um, but I just had to figure that out. So now let's get into the channel goals for 2020. Obviously, I want to make more content. I want to get more weekly content out for both BookTube and FlossTube. Um, I this was not a good year for me, and it wasn't a good year for me in reading, and it wasn't a good year for me and the channel. And I want to fix that in 2020. I enjoy doing this. I enjoy interacting with you in comments. I've made some friends doing this, and I treasure that. And I I enjoy talking to you guys about the things that interest me. And speaking of talking to you guys about the things that interest me, the next two things kind of flow into each other. I want to add. I've been thinking about this, especially the past week or so, when I've been watching some movies and that, and I want to add movie content to the channel and talk about movies because I got a ton of movies. Like I haven't watched movies for the most part in a long time, and most of the TV I've been watching has been British panel shows. A lot because a lot. Well, I haven't been watching a lot of fictional or storyline stuff mostly because when I got really busy, I just needed like quiz shows. But I'm kind of getting back to watching movies and fictional television, and I want to talk about that stuff. Um, which leads me into a very possible rebrand of the channel. Um, I'm very strongly considering changing the channel name from eclectic reads to I have two options, and let me know in the comments what you think. Um, I really want to get your input on these possibilities. The front runner in my mind right now is Read, Watch, Stitch, because it'll encompass everything I want to talk about on the channel. I may talk about music, but I don't feel like I would need to incorporate that into the channel name. The other option I have, it keeps the eclectic part of the name, but it would be Eclectic Planet. I kind of like the sound of that, and that is slightly inspired by Planet Shannon's state channel, which she no longer currently does. She privatized all her videos, and she's not currently making content. But I always thought by naming her channel Planet Shannon, she was able to talk about the TV she watched, the movie she watched, the books she was reading, all her plans for that, and it was all encompassed under this under that name. And I like the kind of the way Eclectic Planet sounds, but right now I'm leaning more towards Read, Watch, Stitch. As I'm moving forward with the channel and adding more things to the channel, I'm not feeling like having the word reads, just the word reads in my name, like Eclectic Reads, really encompasses the direction I'm heading, and have been heading with this channel. So I don't necessarily want to go too far into the new year, I don't think, with a name that only is about a third of what I'm planning on doing on the channel. And let's be honest, I haven't been reading a ton. And I don't want to pressure myself to read, because my channel is mostly a book channel. That's just going to keep me from reading more. And I have other things that I'm interested in and that I like to do. Stitching takes up a lot of time. I really enjoy doing that, and I can do that while I'm watching television and watching movies. Reading is something I tend to do when I'm by myself, and I also haven't been by myself a lot. My wife hasn't been in a show since October, so we've had a lot more time together. And I don't tend to read, while she's awake at home a lot. I'll read after she goes to bed or something, but it tends to be something I do when I'm in the house by myself or up by myself. And stitching and watching television is something like I can sit on the couch and we watch television shows, and I stitch, and or I can watch a movie and I can stitch while I'm watching a movie. I'm fairly decent at keeping track of one thing while I'm doing another. So I haven't been doing a ton of reading, even as I've been getting back into reading. So I don't want to pressure myself to do reading, and there is going to be a little bit of pressure to read, because this will come up in the channel in my reading goals, is because I will be judging the BookTube prize. So I am going to have some things that I have to read, but I don't want to pressure myself to read to get content out. Even when I judge the BookTube prize, the books that I read for that I can't talk about until the winners are announced in each category, in each phase. I can't even put them up on my Goodreads until the winners are the results of that round are over. So, but yeah, let me know in the comments what you think about that, about the rebrand. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen within the first 2 weeks of January. If it's going to happen, it's probably going to happen by, this is Sunday, December 29th, as I'm filming this. It'll probably, if it's going to happen, it'll happen probably by the 10th of January. Because I don't want to go too far into the new year if I'm going to do this. And it's not like my previous crisis of names, because of the types of things I'm reading, not feeling eclectic, and that this is entirely my channel going forward is encompassing more and more non-bookish content, and I want to reflect that in my brand. Um, so that's basically the channel goals. More consistent weekly content. I'm gonna start talking about movies. In fact, I'm gonna do a video today. I'm bulk recording a bunch of videos today. I'm going to do a video today about movies that I want to watch, both regular. I say regular; they're all regular movies, but more current movies. And then I'm going to do a separate video on classic movies because I also have this idea of a series called Classic Movie Corner because I'm a big classic movie fan. I never talk about that other than the classic movie star biographies. I read, which thank you. I just remembered I wanted to add a goal. And so that's always been a big part of my life, and I haven't focused on that in the past few years. And I think partially because I felt like I needed to be reading to get book content out. So I've been toying with the idea for a long time actually about adding an element of what I'm watching in the movies and talking about movies and television to the channel. Before I have a video. Um, I've done one or two videos about what I've been watching, but I never really pursued it. I think partially because I felt like I needed to be talking more about books. So that content will be coming. Let me know in the comments what you think. Excuse me, if that's something you'll be an aspect of my channel that you'll continue to watch, and what you think about either Read Watch Stitch, or Eclectic Planet as channel names. Tell me which ones you like better. I know which way I'm leaning, but I'm curious what you guys think. So let's get into the reading goals for 2020. So FlossTube viewers, that's it for the channel goals. If you're curious what my 2020 reading goals are, please do continue to watch, but I will not be offended if I see a drop in viewership at this point where I start talking about the reading goals. So my Goodreads goal for 2020. I keep, you guys should probably know by now. I keep looking this way because this is where my monitor with all my lists are. So my Goodreads goal is going to be, it was 52 books this year. I read 13. I'm going to keep my Goodreads goal at 52 books. I just think that's just a nice number to shoot for. It's an average of a book a week. If I make it, great. If I pass it, awesome. If I don't, that just means I was doing other things that I enjoy doing. So I'm not gonna. There's just gonna be no pressure. It's just a number. Sorry, there is a hair on my screen. There we go. It's just something to shoot for. I have a lot of reading goals here, which should make it, a relatively attainable goal. But like I said, there's other things I like to do, and I'm no longer going to pressure myself to read so that I have reading content to put out. So 52 books. Next on the list is a goal from last year that we'll just stop talking about how I failed at reading this past year. But I still want to try and read more translated fiction. I think there's a lot of great stuff out there in the world that I don't get to because there's so many books, written in English as a first language that I want to read too. But I still want to make an effort to, at this point, heck, I don't think I read any translated fiction this year. I did not. So one will achieve that goal. I will have read more translated fiction in 2020 than I read in 2019. I would love to say maybe if I could get 5 in, 5 translated works in, that would be fantastic. But even if I get one in, I'm going to call that a successful goal because I will have read more than I read the previous year. I want to. I talked about this in a video, in one of my videos at the first part of the month, that I really want to get more into self-published fantasy. There is a lot of fantasy that is from the big publishers that I want to read, and I'm actually going to do a list of series that I'm going to work on, and it's a mixture of science fiction and fantasy series, mostly fantasy, that I want to work on over the coming year. And I don't have any self-published in that list. Maybe one. I think I got one self-published in that list. But I'm also going to do a separate video of some of the self-published fantasy books that I'm currently interested in reading. Because I want to give that its own separate attention. But yeah, I want to read more self-published fantasy. I think there's some great things being done in self-published, just like there's great things being done in indie horror. I think there's great things being done in self-published fantasy that just don't get the attention that they deserve outside of like SPFBO, and even that mostly comes from Kitty G. As far as in our world, in our booktube world, there's lots of blogs out there talking about self-published fantasy, but I don't see it very often in our platform, and I want to add my voice to that conversation because it just so much that I've been looking at the descriptions and have sounded great and getting decent reviews, and we focus so much on these popular series and these popular epic fantasies that get the advertising dollars, that get the promotion out there, and I want to focus some attention on the guys who are trying to do this and not have to deal with the demands of the bigger publishers, and have more control over what they write and what goes into their books and stuff. I don't think I used to have the stigma that if somebody was just putting their book out there, it probably wasn't very good because they couldn't get a traditional publisher to do it, and that's not the case at all. They're just choosing not to go that route, and there's still probably just fantastic work out there that's not getting the attention it should. I want to. This is the one I just added. I collect classic movie star biographies, and I really want to start reading them. So I want to get that aspect back into my reading and start reading my classic movie star biographies that I collect. And I think putting a focus on watching classic movies for content for the channel, well, not just for content for the channel, but that's a motivator to help me watch more things that I don't tend to watch because, yeah, I talked about all this before. But I think that will also be a motivator to read my classic movie star biographies. So I also want to finally complete the 2020 Reading Women Challenge. I try this every year, and I don't. I think the furthest I've gotten is half, maybe slightly over halfway completed with one of the Reading Women challenges, and I really would like to complete one. And 2020's got a lot of great prompts. I'm actually going to do a TBR video for my Reading Women challenge for next year, and I'll probably do a 6-month update video on where I'm at with it. And I really want to put a focus on that next year. Now, these next ones are they're not necessarily hard and fast goals. They're just things I would like to do, but if I don't, I'm not going to consider it failures if I don't. These are some award shortlists that I would like to read, but depending on what's going on in my life, if I get to them awesome, goal completed. If not, I'm not going to beat myself up over it. Um, so Bram Stoker First Novel Award shortlist. You guys know by now the first novel category of the Bram Stokers is the category I like. Um, and so this year I would like to get the shortlist read before the before the award is announced. Um, Last year I could not. I just had way too much going on in my life at that point. Um, Also, the Shirley Jackson Award shortlist. I would like to possibly read that. That one sometimes depends on the availability of the books. Like last year, there was a book I had to get through Book Depository. I still haven't read it yet. Um, um, the National Book Award shortlist. I would like to try and tackle not the long list. Like Russell, I think in Paper Block, he reads the long list every year. I will probably start reading when the long list is announced and hope that one or two, whatever I can get to, makes it to the short list so that I have less to read once the short list is announced. But there's a good amount of time between when the short list is announced and when the award is announced that that hopefully, depending on what's going on in life at that point, I should be able to. Like I had the time to get the short list read this year. I just wasn't there. I wasn't reading a ton. So, but I could have. It was achievable. Um, and also the Reading Women Award shortlist. Now, the Reading Women Award shortlist is not one I will be able to read the shortlist before the award is announced. There's usually about 2 weeks between the time that the shortlist is announced and the podcast that comes out announcing the winners. No way I'm reading 5 books in 2 weeks. Just it's not going to happen. Um, so, but that is one I'm going to look at maybe trying to read by the end of the year. And hopefully, maybe if I can get more new release literary fiction read throughout the year, and I don't know if that's gonna happen. That's why I didn't make it a goal. Um, then maybe I might have less to read. Um, Sometimes if you can some books you can kind of get a feel that they might be on the short list just by watching Kendra's channel and listening to the podcast and hearing the books that they're really excited about. One or two of those usually ends up on the short list. Um, and I have to read more self-published fantasy on here twice, so apparently I really want to do it. So let's just delete that one. I want to try and read less books at one time. I talk about this a lot. I have way too many books going on at one time. And that also affects me finishing books. I tend to be a little ADD when it comes to that. I'm a serial starter. I love starting books. And sometimes I don't ever get past the first 100 pages because I just continue starting books. And I want to work on that. And then the last thing is I'm signed up to judge the BookTube Prize in the fiction category this year. Now I don't know how that's going to go with me. I'll know after the first round if I should continue on and do it. I want to try. I definitely want to try because I considered emailing Robert and saying, you know what, I'm not sure this might have been a mistake. I'm not sure this is a good idea for me, based on how my year of reading has been going. But I want to try. It just seems like it's going to be a lot of fun to be a part of, and I really want to. I really want to be a part of it, and it's going to help me read some of the books that I missed this year. And so, and I signed up for every round. I may not get every round. But whatever the first round I judge is, I want to see how it goes. And I want to try it. And I will get the 6 books read in the time period. But I'll know if that was a good idea or not. I don't want to just assume it might not be and cancel. I I'm going to give it a try because I want to be a part of it. And that's it. That is my channel and reading goals uh, for the year. Let me know in the comments again about the rebranding idea and what your thoughts on Read, Watch, Stitch, or Eclectic Planet, and also let me know what your reading goals are for the next year, or channel goals. If you're a booktuber, let me know in the comments. Maybe you watch me and you don't often comment. I know I watch a lot of stuff that I don't often comment on just because I'm not in a position to be able to comment when I'm watching. But let me know if you've got a channel goals video out there. Let me know in the comments, and I will go and I'll check it out as soon as I can. And let me know what your reading goals are. What you think of my reading goals. Just drop a comment, say hi. I love talking to you guys in the comments. Thank you to all my subscribers. I appreciate every single one of you. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you stick around. Click the subscribe button so you're sure to know when I post new videos, and I'll see you all in the next one.